Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Let's Talk Jets Radio.
And good evening, everybody. We got our new intro song, Primetime.
That was awesome. That was the first time I heard that. Well done to a
See?
Props there. That was awesome.
See, now, for those of you who don't know, we have a new music director here. Our live streams, we have recruited people. We had a halftime performance to our Super Bowl show. Elias kicked ass. So he now made our song for us, and he'll be on momentarily, so we want to thank him for that. At Talk Jets Radio, Instagram and Twitter. Let's Talk Jets Radio on YouTube. We appreciate everybody that's been joining us for the live streams, the videos. Primetime made 2 excellent videos on YouTube regarding the rebuild. So, Mr. Primetime, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Tired as hell, but that was an awesome show last night. So shout out to everybody that joined us. Some funny calls, some knowledgeable calls. So I'm excited to get into some talk on some free agency and whatever else.
Yeah, what I like about our show is, we embrace everybody. Your call could be shit. Your call could be good. We will let you have your platform, and we may or may not criticize you. That's how we kind of roll these days.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the callers and everybody else, they've helped to build up this platform over the years. So we like to share it, whether it's good, bad, or whatever. So it's always entertaining, though. That's for sure.
So speaking of bad, let's bring on the Waffle King himself, Tyrone. What's up, man?
Yo, what's up, man? What's going on, Big John? You taking shots already, man? Listen, you can get, I want all the smoke tonight, so you can get it tonight there, big fella. I like the new intro music, man. Very, very interesting.
So now, we're going to start with that because I know people want to talk about free agency and the draft and quarterbacks. Last week, it seemed like you had some beef with our music director where you didn't kind of give him credit for the talents he brings to the table. And now that you heard his song, are you going to give him some credit finally, or how are we going to roll here?
Yes, I like that, bro. I like the new intro, bro.
So Hollywood approves now? It's Hollywood approves,
baby. Yeah, let you know something else. The check went in the mail today either, bro. So what's going on? But we'll talk about that off air. But yeah, man, I approve.
You know what it is. We got to take money out for the waffles, man. When we got to start paying for waffles, we don't pay. That's how this works.
Hey, man. I mean, oh wow. You see, that's not in my contract. Now, this is some bull. Shit getting changed up. He said, see, primetime on the fly. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man. But like I said, man,
we got no waffle rule in our contract.
You guys are putting out excellent content. Bro, y'all are really killing the game right now. So, I mean, I'm going to say, bro, and then, the funny part about all this, man, I'm going to be real with you. And anybody who's joined us on Tuesday know that, I was a regular caller. I was a regular fan, bro. I'm a fan of this show before I was anything else. So that's why sometimes, man, I get mesmerized when when the guys come on the show that I used to be like, I want to talk to so and so. Man, whatever, man. Let me have my moment.
Man, give me this. This is some nonsense.
Listen, but hold on. Hey, this is the funny part, Tyson. How many times I got booted off on the old show for using profanity? Do I still hold the record for that show, bro? Do I still hold the record for that? On the old show before you could curse and shit. Do I hold the record for getting kicked off the most? But y'all would drop me like every week. It would be so bad. Prime time would be before I even get on. Hey, bro, don't cuss. As soon as I get on the air, Joe, don't cuss. Tyson, don't cuss. Come on, bro. So yeah, I love the new format, but I'm just glad to be a part of it, baby. What's going on, gentlemen? So now, to clarify, so what Primetime are telling you is, listen, we only pay for hot takes. So if you're going to bring your B, C, D game and the waffles, there'll be no check in the mail, man. You can just keep looking for it. You can go out every day. I don't want you to be disappointed. But are you okay? This is the funny part though. But you're still paying Primetime as we talk about Santa every fucking week. That doesn't change up. But I mean, hey,
he's consistent though. He's consistent.
We have our favorites, huh? You know what I'm saying? We have
Always
our favorites, huh?
consistent.
See, now I know the total.
How is Primetime my
Tony
favorite?
Poe.
Primetime, and we've been fighting for 6 months now. How the hell is Primetime my favorite?
Nah, because you always say, yo, I'm waffling, right? We were talking about, listen, I've been getting killed, bro. I mean, I've been just getting message after message, bro, about my, let me clarify some shit.
So bring better takes.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, now I want to
Exactly.
ask you 2 questions. I'm gonna bring you 2 quick good takes. Number one is this.
about
Yesterday,
time.
I got a message yesterday about Sam Darnold, and I want to say this right here. Let me clarify this. I love Sam as a player. I love Sam, but I don't care how many bad coaches, how many OCs he had. I don't care how many GMs he had. He's making the fucking throws to the wrong guy. Period. That's on him. So you guys can say, build around Sam. He hasn't had this. When are you going to hold him accountable for the shit that he did? Why do I got to keep saying this? That's just common fucking sense. Okay, I'll take the hit for my opinion.
Are we back
about
on
the young
this already?
quarterbacks.
I
No,
don't know about
it's
Marcus
just-
Maye and
It's just
Henry
it's
Anderson.
just, yo, I keep getting hit with the same shit. Every single bro, I got 50 fucking messages. Bro, why don't you like Sam? Bro, because he can't throw the ball to nobody. Oh, let's move back. I would love to move back in the draft, man. Somebody put on yesterday, we're gonna get 3 first-round picks. Who the fuck is gonna give us 3 first-round picks for the number 2 pick of the draft? This shit ain't happening. It's not happening. So
Maybe they want Zach Wilson.
Yo, listen.
Didn't you say last week? Didn't you say last week though that you still like Sam more than Zach Wilson or Justin Fields?
Oh, listen.
Bingo.
Prime time. Listen what I'm saying. Yes, I do like Sam more than I like them. This is what I'm saying to you though, prime time. I would love to move back, and I've been consistently saying this. I would love to move back in the draft. I would love to have 3 first-round picks next year and 3 first-round picks the year after that. 3 first-round picks this year and 3 first-round picks next year. Man, we could be a good team with that. But my problem is who's going to be our quarterback? You know what I'm saying? And I understand if they want to give Sam a chance, I'm going to ride with it. I'm just saying, though, his inconsistencies and the plays that he made that were bad are on him, not the coaches, not the GM, not anybody else, because he made those throws.
So then who's your quarterback?
I mean, if I had a choice, it would be Deshaun Watson. That would be the number one consistency for me. After that,
what's your plan B?
Sam. I mean, it's probably Sam.
Okay.
But he needs to be held. But he needs to be held accountable for what he's done.
Weird?
Though, you know
You're holding him accountable, and you're finding all these flaws in him. Like, yeah, but I got to keep him.
You said what?
You just told me how bad he was, and then you say I got to keep him. He's my guy.
That was the point of my line of questioning.
Because I'm not sold on the guys that are in the draft. I'm not sold on them that can come in.
You're
and
not sold on the guy you have either.
No, I haven't been. You ain't either. You know what I'm saying?
This is not about me. This is not about me. This is about you right now.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to understand the thought process here is you started off just blasting the shit out of Sam, blasting the shit out of Primetime, and then you're like, yeah, that's my guy.
No,
right?
I'm saying, no, you are missing something. You know what I'm saying? I said Deshaun Watson is my guy. Deshaun Watson is my guy. But
we're talking about Deshaun Watson being off the table. What are you doing then?
Okay.
And you just said you don't like Fields or Wilson enough. You like Darnold more than them. So Darnold's a one-year risk. If you take a guy that you think is less than Sam Darnold, and now you're stuck with that guy for 3 to 4 years on top of whatever you passed up, whether it's Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, Sewell, trading back and getting multiple first-round picks, you're going all in on your quarterback that you think right now is less than Sam. How does that make sense?
Okay, well, I say this right here, Prime Time. This is my whole point of it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like the risk, the reward of getting all those picks, you know what I'm saying, is almost seemingly worth it. But my problem is this, though, and this is what scares me. So what if Sam doesn't work out? Then all those picks that we got next year are going to be used to move up to get a quarterback, correct? Or am I wrong?
Correct.
Okay, so that's so restarting the clock might be the most logical thing to do. But I understand both sides of it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I love Sam Darnold, and I want to make that clear. I love what he is as a young kid, and he's 23, and I hope he could get better. My only problem is 2 things. One, you know what I'm saying? If we invest in Sam, you know what I'm saying, that's going to be 25 next year. We keep him. So we don't do the 50-year option.
18 now. It's actually lower now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 18.
Yeah,
18. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's 18, which is very manageable. But my question is this though: like Do you take those 3 picks and then you're building the team up? And prime time, and I give you credit for this because you've been saying this shit for months, and I don't know nobody really been listening. You're really saying that take those picks and build a whole team. Don't worry about the quarterback. Build the whole team. Tyson will come through and say, which has a hell of a point as well, the quarterback is the most important piece of this equation. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like what the coach did. The coach have a solid team. They didn't have a quarterback. They still don't have one in my eyes, but still, you know what I'm saying?
I'll completely acknowledge. Picking second right now may, in fact, be their best chance to get their franchise quarterback, but it still comes down to how Joe Douglas evaluates these guys. For him, I think, to even think about going all in, he has to look at one of these kids as being a potential top 5, if not, top 10 quarterback. Otherwise, you're pushing all your chips in now, and you are tied to this guy, and if it doesn't work out, you're fucked. And I know you keep saying, I'm more doom and gloom about the pick potentially not working out, and, the people that support Sam will say, well, you're doom and gloom about him not being able to turn it around with better coaching and talent. It's really just a matter of preference and how you prefer to build the team. But the reason I think it's less of a risk to go with Sam is that you're not tied to anything. And if you do have to bring in a quarterback next year or the year after, in theory, you'd be bringing that quarterback into a much better situation with a lot more talent around him. Kind of like exactly what Mahomes walked into. You'd have weapons. You'd have an offensive line. That's the ideal situation.
But all you're doing is prolonging the inevitable. If that's the case, so this is my whole point. If you're saying build around Sam, then you got to invest in Sam for 2 years, correct? You're going to give him 2 years, right?
You don't have to, but I mean, at this point, with
but hold on. But it wouldn't make any sense not to. So my question is, do you think Sam can improve? Has Sam shown you enough to say to give him 2 more years? That's my question, Prime Time.
I would be completely fine doing that. I mean, we've all said that he appears to be more talented than Mark Sanchez, right? After his first 2 years, there was nobody that was saying Mark Sanchez was a more talented quarterback, and yet he was able to go to back-to-back AFC championship games because he had a talented team around him. So, committing to 1 or 2 years of Sam Darnold, by making that decision, you're going to be able to solve so many other holes so that if Sam doesn't work out, you still have a great roster ready to go, and the quarterback is your last need, and you could go all in on that, trade future picks, whatever, all options would be on the table. I mean, to me, it's the less risky scenario, unless you are completely sold on one of these quarterbacks, in which I'm fine. And I could see Joe Douglas doing that. Picking second is probably your best chance to do it if there's a guy that you're really sold on. Tyrone started this. I didn't want to talk quarterbacks, but Tyrone started it. Blame him.
I got a question for Tyson, though. I got a question for Tyson.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
So, Tyson, what is your approach to this?
My approach is,
off the
Tyron,
table.
you know what my approach is? Want to know what it is?
Yes, sir.
Brian in Newburgh, you're on Let's Talk Jets Radio. What's up, man? How you doing?
Wow, that is one hell of an option to go to. Me. First of all, I gotta say I haven't been able to call in for a while, but I gotta say your guys' top. I have to say your top 2 fans, your top 2 callers at this moment are 2 people in particular. One is the dude, I think his name was John, that talks like he had 500 Virginia Slims and he's crazy and he talks like that, but he's fucking awesome. This guy's hilarious.
John from Lakehurst. Yep.
Yeah.
John is funny as shit, bro.
He is. And then you have, was it Afron? I think he's from Cali. The dude that's mad mellowed out and he's hanging out with Scooby-Doo with a fucking blunt in his hand. That dude, he makes a lot of really good points, but I gotta say, man, you guys are like nailing this show. You guys are doing fucking awesome.
Appreciate it.
What I did want to talk about was since I didn't get the call in last week was you guys were talking about Crowder and basically what you should do with the wide receiver type of thing. But if we're gonna do something with like a wide receiver, I honestly think we're gonna draft. I don't see us making a splash with Crowder unless it's going to be a 2, maybe 3 year, and we're not going to do that again. There's no sense in bringing him in for 1 more year to waste money. I don't think we're going to do that.
So you don't think they're going to sign any free agents? They're just going to look solely to the draft?
No, just not Crowder. I mean, Allen Robinson probably, but that's going to be that's not going to be a 1-year deal. They're probably going to give him, 2, 3, 4 years. So when you were talking about Crowder last week, I don't see them I don't see them giving him another contract, even if it's a 1 year, because that would be just like 10 years or $10 million or something like that. That won't even make sense to spend for 1 year that you can use on another part of the field. Does that make sense?
Listen. I mean, the one thing, I understand where you're coming from, because it's $10.5 million and we don't know where we're going to actually be at. But the problem is, if you get rid of Crowder, you know what I'm saying, you really don't fix nothing by subtraction. That's how most people are looking at it. You know what I'm saying? And I understand what you're saying. If you can get a guy like Samuels for $6-7 million, you're saving yourself a couple of million, who's probably more suited for this offense. But at the same time, if you bring back someone like Sam, you have to give a reliable target as well, or you have to give a rookie quarterback, you know what I'm saying, a reliable target. I think Allen Robinson, I know that's my number one choice, but I think that his numbers are going to be crazy, bro. I think he's actually going to get $100 million. I think that it's going to be $80 to $100 million in his contract. I don't think Joe Douglas is going to give that, because we don't have a quarterback in place to really do that. So I think they probably will go with the draft, but I think that it's hard to get rid of a guy like that, because all you really have is Mims. You have a couple of other guys, role players. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have anybody after that. All you really have is Barrios, and, he hasn't really been, he's made a few good catches, but hasn't really proved anything. So I think that's probably how it's going to end up going, probably with the draft. What do you think, Primetime?
I think the Crowder decision really just all comes down to, whether or not they're able to replace him in either free agency or the draft. I could see Douglas looking at, Juju or Curtis Samuel, and if he's able to, sign one of those guys for 3 to 4 years, they're both under 26 years old. They would be a building block for the next 3 to 4 years, and you could just get rid of Crowder, slide those guys in the slot, and then, you're basically kind of swapping out those contracts, and then you could still find somebody else on the outside opposite Denzel Mims, and then still draft another receiver, fairly early on, and then you got 4 wideouts that are all incredibly young, that are all going to be here. So I'm kind of with that approach.
I'll say one other thing. I'll let you guys go, because I know you guys got a lot of callers. I don't think drafting Devonta Smith is a good idea at all. That kid needs 15 pounds of more muscle than anybody. If he gets pressed on the line, he's done. He's done. This is the next step up. This is the NFL. This isn't college. He weighs as much as I do. Okay, I play flag football and get tossed around. You think these dudes aren't like 30, 40 pounds of muscle charging him at the line? You get 5 yards to fuck somebody up. They're going to use that 5 yards to put him on his ass.
How much does he weigh? What, like 175, 180 or something? Because, Jerry Jeudy's only 193, and, he's just a phenomenal route runner. I could see, Devonta Smith kind of, being in that same mold.
That's an extra 15, 20 pounds, though.
You don't think he'll be able to add that within, another year or two? NFL program, strength and conditioning and all that? I think that's a given. It's not like he's a small dude. I think he's like 6'1".
Yeah, he does need it. That's what I'm saying. If he goes in at the weight he is now, he's going to get tossed around like a rag doll.
And also, too, I think they might use him in the slot, too. Like you know what I'm saying, like you want to see the Lamb. Just, I feel what you're saying just because of his size. But
I hope Perfect isn't sitting there waiting for him.
Now, don't put
that on him. Going to end up like AV.
Now, don't put that on him. But I also think that, man, it depends on what we pick at and what we really can grab for that. You got to understand, we got to get 2 bookends. We really need a really athletic outside, linebacker that really could help. We definitely need receivers. You know what I'm saying? This is a decent draft with a lot of quality receivers in it. So, I actually like Chase more than I like Smith. But Smith is, he's that guy. But I also like that guy with Tooney. That kid is killing it. So we can get him in the second round. I really would like that as well. This kid he's like a man out of Kansas City, man. He's like a human joystick, man. I want somebody that can give us some yak, man. I want guys that can get open in the field.
People are talking about Waddle like that.
You said what now?
People are talking about Jalen Waddle a lot like that too.
Yeah, Well, like he wouldn't have got hurt. I don't think Smith wouldn't have did what he did. So I think that, you're definitely correct. It's a lot of talented receivers in there. But the thing about Waddle, he's just so short, man. So, that's the one thing about it. But he's explosive, But it's a lot of guys. It's guys like, what's my man named Palmer you can get in the 6th round, bro, that's going to make an impact on the team because, if you notice, man, the best receivers are special team guys. Like those guys in the open field just go crazy, you know what I'm saying? So I really would like speed, man. I really would like a speed back, man. I really would. I like a speed receiver.
Pardon your wisdom, Tyrone, but I'm just saying, this kid needs to get 15 extra pounds or he's going to get pancaked. That's all I'm saying. But I'll let you guys go. I know you guys got a lot of callers, all right? But thank you so much. You guys are doing excellent and kick-ass tonight.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
Bro. Thanks, man. Call.
See, I think that's actually like a positive for Devonta Smith, the fact that he can add, and he has the frame to do it. He's 6'1". I mean, he's going to put on some weight, when he gets into an NFL strength and conditioning program. I think it's going to be scary if he actually becomes a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, on top of the fact that he's
absolutely.
just a phenomenal route runner, great hands. I mean, I think he's going to be a legit number one.
And the one thing about it too, prime time, he's fearless. Like, even with his size, he's fearless. But look at Robbie. Robbie's small as hell, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, he's a shifty guy. He's a really, really great route runner. He kind of reminds you of Judy, like you said. Another smaller guy, but just can get it done. So I mean, it's going to be a lot of receivers. I'm hoping Joe D grabs at least one, but it depends what he does in free agency too, though. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting, bro.
No matter what he does in free agency, I'm still taking a receiver at some point within the first 3 rounds of this draft. I mean, there's just too much time here to kind of do what they did last year, and They needed at least 2 last year. They only got 1 this year. You got to get at least 1 early on, and then still take a flyer. I think on a guy late.
Yeah, I mean, but absolutely, because all you're doing is you got to look at this too, though. If they sign a guy, for a couple of year deal, you got Mims. If they move Crowder, you're going to bring somebody in to replace him. So you know what I'm saying. So either way, you're going to draft 1 or 2 receivers. But you know what I'm saying. I think that his main issue is fixing the bigger holes, man. I think that offensive line as well. Like getting one of these monster guards in. You know what I'm saying. Or maybe even doubling up and getting 2 of these monster guards. You know what I'm saying. If we don't get a guy like Tooney or Sheriff out of Washington, you know what I'm saying. So, like I said, the holes that we have aren't as they're draping holes because they've been neglected for so long. So getting somebody in that can do that.
So let me ask you, going into the draft, I mean, where would you prefer to have some of your holes? Because I was doing the free agency breakdown the other day. No matter how you spend this money, assuming that they're going to go after, at least some prominent targets, you're going to have several holes somewhere, whether it's, at safety, if you don't bring back Maye, if you do invest in Maye and a pass rusher, you're probably not, signing a guy like Richard Sherman. You got a hole at corner. And then if you do sign a guy like Tooney or Allen Robinson, that's going to wipe out a good portion of your cap as well. So, I mean, where would you prefer to have some of these holes going into the draft? Can you take a chance, maybe not signing a prominent receiver if you're going to take a receiver early? How would you do that?
I mean, like you said, it would depend on them. I mean, I definitely want to make sure that we shore up the offensive line. I mean, that's the most important thing right there. That definitely has to be done. I wouldn't mind signing a nice receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like Allen Robinson. I mean, if his ticket's $20 million a year, $19 million a year, we don't have the quarterback for that. So I don't know if that'll be the best move. I don't think that'll be a Joe D move. You know what I'm saying? A guy like Galladay. You know what I'm saying? The kid out of Tampa, somebody like that. We can get for like $12 million. You know what I'm saying? They can come in and help out.
But Tyrone.
But Godwin?
Yes, sir.
For $12 million?
So that's not going to happen. But I think a lot of those guys that you're talking about are going to get franchise tagged. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask Nick in Corona, California, what he thinks about that transition. What's up, Nick?
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's going on, bro?
You guys hear me? Hey, hold on. So I actually came on. I actually had a little bit of a quarterback take. I haven't been able to call into any of you guys' shows, the live stream or the radio show, and I just wanted to give my preference on quarterback. But what was the opinion, Tyson, that you wanted me to?
No, I was just busting Tyrone's chops, man. I just wanted to get you on and get the callers on. Tyrone was just talking. I want to hear your take, man. We want to hear your quarterback take.
Okay, so I'm not going to act like I know, who besides Trevor Lawrence, I'm not going to act like I know between, Fields, Wilson, Lance, who is legit the best quarterback prospect. But I don't understand why, I hear a lot of fans saying they think Zach Wilson's going to be the pick, or that at least that's what it seems like they're leaning towards. But I like Fields. Obviously, I like Trevor Lawrence, but I'm a Zach Wilson fan, not just based on what I've seen. Obviously highlight videos don't do much justice, but highlight videos, just some quarterback school videos, but just what. Like Daniel Jeremiah, Louis Riddick. I don't know if you guys saw what Mark Schler said, but a lot of Daniel Jeremiah and Louis Riddick being former scouts and whatnot. I mean, I have to go by. Everybody uses the whole no competition with Zach Wilson, and I don't get that. Just because I think the NFL's with the quarterback at least is a trait driven league, and what is it that Zach Wilson doesn't have that I guess Patrick Mahomes has, Josh Allen. Obviously, they're a little bit bigger, but Carson Wentz. I'm naming these guys because these guys all came from smaller schools. Josh Allen didn't play much competition, and it was actually, for being honest, pretty shitty his last year in college. Carson Wentz came from the same school that Trey Lance's, North Dakota State. These guys all had traits, and I know that's what the NFL looks for. But I think the biggest thing is if we end up picking Zach Wilson, I don't understand why so many people are down on the whole no competition thing when you look at his traits, and you just got to have, we have a good, hopefully, what we assume is going to be a good offensive coordinator, a good coaching staff, hopefully a good front office with, Joe Douglas and them that know, that hit this quarterback, pick out of the park if we do take one. But if we put a good coaching staff and they know how to develop the kid, I don't understand why he can't be, a good quarterback. I don't understand the whole no competition thing. Like the only thing I would say against Zach Wilson is if you watch highlight videos and all that, he has a ton of time. That'd be the only thing, ton of time to throw. But everything I see is his receivers are making good plays for him, but it's like he's fitting the ball into some tight windows. I don't see a lot of wide open receivers in some of the videos, and not just the highlight videos, like the like I said, quarterback school. Some of these guys that are like quarterback scouts or whatever on YouTube. But he has a strong arm, accuracy. He improvises. Like Patrick Mahomes, for example, came from Texas Tech. A little bit of a bigger school, but came from an air raid offense, right, where every quarterback that goes to Texas Tech, throws. It seems like it throws for 400, 500 yards like every game. But they look at his strong arm, his ability to improvise, play, make, traits. And then again, who was talking about Patrick Mahomes? I don't recall. I think that was the Mitchell Trubisky draft and Deshaun Watson, but I don't think anybody was even thinking about Patrick Mahomes that draft, right? Obviously, he has Andy, the coaching staff, Andy Reid. He's got a good GM and a good front office that put the talent around him and developed him. I'm not comparing Zach Wilson and Patrick Mahomes, but I feel like a lot of it has to do with our offensive coordinator, obviously Saleh, Joe Douglas putting the right pieces around him, but the traits are there. Same thing with Josh Allen, strong arm, athletic. Wyoming, they didn't play shit. Josh Allen, he was actually shitty, like I said, his last year in college. But look, with the right pieces around him, he has the traits, and look what they got out of him. A little bit of patience and whatnot. But then again, and Zach Wilson's coming from a pro-style offense. So I'm a Zach Wilson guy. I like Justin Fields. I don't like his slow delivery. I think that's one of the things that bothers me most. He's got that wind up, that kind of like that Cam Newton wind up. I don't know, kind of bugs me a little bit. And I'm not so much buying into he can't make progressions beyond his first read. But Zach Wilson, that's another thing. All you hear is quick reads. He's able to get past. I think I saw a stat that said he was the number one. Highest percentage of completions beyond his first read or something like that. So it's like, I don't know. I guess the only negative knock that I see is his injury, shoulder surgery or whatever he had, and then obviously he has a lot of time to throw. But the small school thing, I don't get it. I don't know. I just want to see what you guys' thoughts were, because I know like Tyrone isn't a huge Zach Wilson fan because he says he played nobody. But I'm just curious with those comparisons that I made.
Well, Tyrone's a Sam Darnold fan, so this will be an interesting take.
And Tyson, who are you a fan of, Tyson? You bash everything. You bash
You want me to start? You want me to start while I give you time to put together your answer?
No, Nick asked Tyrone. Nick asked him.
That's
so
what I'm
saying. Just you guys in general, but I know Tyrone specifically has bashed Zach Wilson, and I'm not going to act like I know him and guarantee he's going to be a great quarterback, but he has everything that from traits to smaller school. Those three guys that are named, Carson Wentz, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, nobody was really looking at them, seriously. They didn't play great competition. I mean, North Dakota State plays weaker competition than BYU, but they went off of Carson Wentz traits, the same thing that they're going to do with Trey Lance. And I know you guys are okay with Trey Lance, obviously trading back and getting him, but I don't know. And then you see like with Daniel Jeremiah, Louis Riddick, Mark Schlereth said he was the best quarterback in the draft. I'm not saying I agree with that, but some of these guys that aren't in it for the clicks necessarily, but the former scouts are even, they're saying this kid has, the ability to play, make, improvise, So I don't know. I'm a Zach Wilson fan. If we move on from Sam, If we can't get Deshaun Watson's my plan A. I just want to throw that out there, but I don't know. I'm Zach Wilson, just because of those reasons.
Yeah, I'll just say real quick on Zach Wilson. I mean, I pretty much agree with most of what you said there. The small school thing, I don't think that's a big enough reason to pass on him. I think he does have all the traits, as far as arm strength, mobility, the ability to improvise, like you mentioned. But for me, like when I watched the film, I kind of agree with you. He does fit some balls into tight windows, but like me and Tyson, we were talking the other night, there's also a lot of other plays where you wonder, like, if he's facing NFL caliber defensive backs, do some of those balls turn into interceptions? So I think he's more of a risk taker in the sense that he's probably like the highest boomer bust prospect. I don't think there's any in between with him. He's either going to be a great quarterback or a complete bust. Whether or not, he learns to kind of, not take those chances at the wrong moments. I think Fields is a little bit more composed in that area. He knows when to throw the ball away. He knows when to take chances, when not to. I see a little bit of that in Trey Lance as well. But yeah, if you're just looking at physical traits and things like that, I mean, I think Wilson is off the charts.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I hear everybody's knocking him just being that he plays nobody. But I'm looking at it like the talent on BYU. You got to look at it from perspective of like, Fields has pretty much most of the same traits as Zach Wilson. But look at Fields' highlights. Everybody's wide open on his deep balls. He has a great deep ball, but everybody, it seems like they're wide open. And not to mention, obviously, you're going to knock.
You know what? Hold on. I got to dispute that one though. Like I don't necessarily agree with that with Justin Fields. For some reason, everybody's all of a sudden shitting on Justin Fields and saying that Zach Wilson does all these great things. If Fields doesn't do it, he makes some very tight throws too. He breaks coverage. He rolls out. He throws dimes, dude. Like I don't think he's always throwing to wide open guys, man.
I agree, but Tyson, if you think about it from this perspective, the whole competition thing. Obviously, Ohio State has those bigger games against obviously powerhouse schools, but how many teams do they play where it's it's going to be 56-0, it's going to be 60-7, where
you can say the same thing about Trevor Lawrence. Then you can say the same thing about Mac Jones.
I agree, I 100% agree, but that's what I'm just saying it from a perspective of if you're going to use the whole small school thing with Zach Wilson, he plays nobody. His team, his receivers, I think he's got like Dax Millen. I think is the one guy that might get drafted, but he doesn't have.
No, listen, I understand your take, but it's like for some reason Trevor Lawrence gets exempt from all this shit. He's a great player, that's it. But then if you want to discount Justin Fields for a lot of things, Trevor Lawrence has the same benefits. Mac Jones definitely does. So it's like people like kind of cherry pick traits and they want to ignore the same situation with other players just to fit their narrative or their agenda. And I hate that shit. I like Justin Fields. Like I don't have a definitive guy who I want, Wilson or Fields, but I like Justin Fields a lot, dude. I like a lot of things he does, and some of the shit people are saying, I just don't see it, man. Like I see him, he's excellent in the pocket. He steps up. He makes good throws. He's got a good arm. He's durable. He's versatile. He does all kinds of shit. He can run. Like I mean.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't get all the hate on Fields.
I will say this about Wilson right here, man. The one thing I do like about Wilson, I've been seeing, this kid anticipates the throw when he throws the ball before the guy. I love that. You know what I'm saying? Being in the right circumstances.
That's huge.
That really is. Right, that's true. It's true. It is because the good quarterbacks do that.
One more question on Fields, Tyson. What's your opinion on his throwing motion? You don't think it's a little bit slow? I see some of those quarterbacks with that. They kind of cock it and wind up. It's not like that quick flick. And I don't know. That kind of bugs me. I don't know. I know it's not.
Yeah,
that
does too. But dude, there's things about Sam's throwing motion that I don't like either. But I'm not a quarterback guru, dude. Like 100%. I don't know fucking shit about. Like there's certain times like when he throws it, it just irritates the shit out of me. And I'm like, but he gets away with it. Like some quarterbacks can get away with it. Some quarterbacks can modify it. But the other thing, to your point though, and the one thing that everybody keeps kind of going back to is the Mike LaFleur offense and who's a good fit for it. And I find the takes comical because it's like if you take a quarterback at 2, while you have your offense, you can cater to the guy you have. So, like, people are like, oh, Justin Fields is not a good fit for the offense. How the fuck is that possible? If he's your number 2 quarterback in the draft, you take your offense and you modify it to maximize his skill set. Like, I don't understand the thought that, you know what, because this is the offense he has, we're going to ignore, in theory, the number 2 quarterback in this class because it's not going to fit what we do. I find that fucking insane.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there. Before I let you guys go, I'll just end it with, to your point, Tyson, there. I think the most important thing is not so much picking the quarterback that best fits the offense. I just think coming from a pro-style offense in general, whether it's Fields, Lawrence, that's obviously most important, which is having a little bit of experience of a pro-style offense translating to the NFL, which most of the top quarterbacks do. Even I think Trey Lance at North Dakota State, they run a pretty I think it's somewhat of a pro-style offense. But I'll let you guys go. I just want to get your take on that. I'm pretty much Deshaun Watson, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields close behind, but I think Zach Wilson's most fit for the modern NFL, and what some of those quarterbacks that you've seen that have success, I think he's most similar. But that's just my opinion.
Yo, thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Good night, bro.
All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to change it up a little bit, and we're going to bring this show to a complete screeching halt. Tyrone, are you ready for this?
Let's go.
I think I know what's happening.
Because, I mean, if we, because what happens is when you get to a certain point in the night, he probably goes to sleep either on the show or off it. You never know how it works. He's definitely going to fall asleep. It's just a matter of how he goes about doing it. So I figure if you bring him on now to make sure you get the best possible take that he could probably provide, because I think after 9:15 it's going to be all shit. What do you think, Tyrone?
I think that he's consistent at what he does. So,
and the thing is too is he's had a couple weeks off. I mean, so you got to think he's probably refreshed. He's been hitting the gym. He's got to be revived and stuff, right? I mean, I'm sure he goes on other shows and talks shit about us, but that's fine. I mean, that happens. We're used to that. So I mean, like,
that's what I'm saying. You got to get him on early so that he can go and make the rounds on the rest of his shows. I mean, he's a celebrity now.
So let's bring on Sleepy McGee. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Steve?
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's going on, bro? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, guys. How have you been?
Doing
Great.
Good, bro.
Fantastic.
So what's going on? I've been watching what you guys do with your live stream. I got to tell you, it's very, very entertaining and very funny. I love too what you guys are also talking about too. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, with the quarterback situation, with either getting Deshaun Watson or keeping Sam or starting all over again with Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. It's a lot of hot takes, but one thing is that the Jets management is at least taking their time and thinking about the situation because they don't want to.
What do you mean taking their time? They have nothing but fucking time. There's nothing going to happen right now. It's February 23rd. What the fuck do you think they're going to do right now?
Hey, listen, there are times where in the past where we've seen Jets management just jump the gun, and it's not even.
What are they jumping the gun on, dude? You know what? Are they going to draft somebody today? Oh, you know what? The Jets just drafted Zach Wilson. Fuck, I missed it. I can't believe it. What are they doing? Are they signing? What are they signing? Are they signing Allen Robinson today? Did we miss that somewhere?
Oh shit!
The fuck are we doing? They're taking their time. Taking their time with what? Eating their fucking dinner?
Nah, it's just. Hey, listen. I'm just messing around with you, Tyson.
I think he was just trying to say that they're doing their due diligence. They're doing all their homework. They're doing their due diligence. They're evaluating all their options, right? Isn't that what you're trying to say? Something like that.
Yeah, of course I was trying to say that. And of course, once again,
right.
I had Tyson interrupt me like he does all the time.
Well, no, because you know what? If you're going to offer up a horrible fucking take, we're going to call you out on it. So let's change the topic and try to save yourself. Steve, what do you do with Marcus Maye? Do you franchise him or not?
I would put him on the franchise tag.
And why is that?
Reason is because I know that they're looking at other stuff to use with the money in free agency this year because I know that they're looking at wide receiver. They're looking to upgrade the offensive line more. I would definitely put Marcus Maye on the franchise tag.
Yeah, but if you're looking to spend money elsewhere, then why type $11 million on him when it could be spent elsewhere? Maybe you can get him from cheaper, like $9 million or $8 million.
No, you could definitely do that. You absolutely could definitely do that. But I'm thinking, because of right now, because of how Joe Douglas is on the offensive line, he's definitely going to want to look more into the offensive line. But I would feel comfortable this year of putting Marcus Maye on the franchise tag.
All right, so then what do you do with Jamison Crowder?
You know, I love Jamison Crowder. I do, but I think the best decision is if they're gonna be looking at like at Allen Robinson or any of those other good wide receivers in free agency, or even look at someone in the draft like what Primetime was saying, I say we let him go. And plus, we let him go, we save $10 million on him. So I think the right decision is to move on from Crowder.
So, well, Allen Robinson doesn't play the same position, so you could actually have both at the same time. Would you consider that?
If the Jets decide, if Joe Douglas decides, you know what, I'll give Crowder.
I'm asking you. I don't give a shit what the Jets decide. I'm asking you what you would do today on February 23rd.
No, I would do it. No, listen, I would do it. You
just had to cut him.
I absolutely would do it. No, if they were playing on the same position, and if I decided, you know what, if I want to keep Crowder for another year and sign Allen Robinson, I wouldn't mind doing it. But at the same time, though, if you're looking at another receiver in the draft, I honestly wouldn't mind doing that at all either.
All right, so, hold on. All right, so we're gonna franchise Maye. We're going to sign Robinson. We're going to keep Crowder. What are you doing on the offensive line? Are you signing like a guy like Tooney or Scherf? You going after Lindsley?
I would sign Tooney. And then how would you feel, Primetime, if McGovern moved over to the right guard and we signed Corey Lindsley? What do you think?
Okay, so you're going to sign Tooney. You're going to sign Lindsley. You're signing Allen Robinson. We're back to keeping Crowder, and we're franchising Maye. So just estimating, we're probably at about, I don't know, 70 to 75 million, somewhere in that range.
Hey, listen, I would do it.
Hey, Steve, I got a question, Steve. Would you bring in Richard Sherman?
Are you signing Richard Sherman at corner too?
Hey, would I sign Richard Sherman at corner? I'd probably look at cornerback in the draft. I'd probably look at cornerback in the draft because Richard Sherman is up there in age. So I would be looking at corner in the draft.
And what about your outside linebackers and your 4-3 defensive ends? I mean, are you just going with like John Franklin Myers and Zuniga, or are you signing somebody?
In the draft.
Okay.
I would look at them in the draft.
Okay. What about running back, Steve?
I would definitely look at running back in the draft as well. I don't feel comfortable with
we must have like 30 draft picks
back in the free agency market. No, I would rather draft a running back in the later
You're not going to sign anybody? You're not going to sign anybody?
No.
You're just going to trust P. Ryan and a rookie? And Ty Johnson or somebody?
I'd rather be very young at the running back position. I don't want to be too old or sign someone to a mega deal like what we did with Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, but guys like Jerick McKinnon, Matt Breida, Tevin Coleman, like those guys are all, I think, under 28 years old. They've all played under LaFleur. You wouldn't bring in somebody like that for cheap?
I would sign one of those kind of running backs to a cheap contract, one of those veterans that like overpay for someone.
All right, what about tight end?
The tight end position. If there is one tight end, I wouldn't mind bringing in. I like the guy Jonnu Smith from Tennessee.
Oh, we're adding him now too. Okay.
Yep.
So we're signing Jonnu Smith, Allen Robinson. Go ahead.
Basically under Steve's plan, he's going to sign all these guys, and he's going to be forced to cut half the team.
Well, I don't know how we're affording all these guys. You said Jonnu Smith, Allen Robinson, Joe Tooney, franchise Marcus Maye, Corey Lindsley. I mean, we can't afford that.
It's a spending spree.
Sounds nice.
Your thoughts, Steve?
Hey, listen. These are just my takes. You guys can disagree all you want. I don't care.
We do.
This is my take. You have your opinion. I have mine. Get the fuck over it.
Well, no, it's not.
We're over it.
I was going to say it's not an opinion. It's a fact that they wouldn't be able to afford all that. But have a good night.
That's right. We're over it now. Next up is Elias. Elias, what's up, man?
Yo, guys, how you guys doing?
What's up, man?
You got here with the fire takes, man. I know. I gotta agree, man. I'm loving how the Jets are spending the time evaluating the quarterback position. It's lovely, man.
Oh.
No, thank you for the intro song, man. Did you like the song? Yes, no, maybe. Like the way it sounded?
Oh, it broke up for a sec. Yo, Tyrone, my number one fan. What do you think of the song?
Hey, bro, I love it, bro. You know, I was like, yo, it caught me off guard. I was like, yo, shit, okay, I like that, bro. Congratulations, man. Keep working hard, man.
Thanks,
Sounded good, though. Really did, bro.
Thank
really
you,
did.
man.
How'd you enjoy the Steve takes, man? How'd you enjoy that, man? Welcome to the family. So, I just sat back and I try to mute my phone, but I be laughing so fucking hard. It's crazy, bro.
I did the exact same thing. I was lying down laughing my ass off, man. Tyrone, you came out of nowhere, just started blasting his ass. It was hilarious. Dude, we need to get Steve, Jack, and Anthony on the call at the same time.
Oh wow, that's
That'd
definitely.
be quite a show.
I got a question for you, bro. So how long it took you to do that, bro? The song and everything.
Like I just spent the night doing it. Like I think it took like an hour. Basically, there's an app on my keyboard app on my phone that I wrote that like little bit, and then I just played it on guitar. And I think it only took me like an hour. So yeah.
All right, bro. Yo, definitely good, bro. Definitely enjoyed it.
Thanks, man.
So what's your approach to free agency? How are you spending this money?
I'm not going to do what Steve did because I understand there's a salary cap. So what I'm thinking is sign Joe Thuney, make him your left guard most likely. I don't think Corey Linsley's hitting the market. I think the Packers are going to find a way to bring him back. I think you sign a wide receiver like a Corey Davis or someone, or a Curtis Samuel, like a mid-tier wide receiver, just because, we were talking about it last night. I don't think Al Robinson, as much as we love him, I don't know if he's coming here. I also don't think like a guy like Galladay is really the biggest fit. I think Curtis Samuel would be good because you want some yak guys in here. But, yeah, I would, sign Thuney and then like a mid-tier, slightly, above mid-tier wide receiver. And then hopefully you can get, some minor guys. So you need some outside linebackers now with the 3 linebackers in coverage. And the guys I want to bring back on our team, Marcus Maye, we talked about it a bit. I would be comfortable letting him at the market, seeing what he's getting, just considering the other 2 safeties on the market. Like they're going to get a lot more than Marcus Maye. So I'm not. You could franchise him, but I think you can take the risk of letting him at the market. And then, some other guys to bring back. I think what's his name, the guard from the Vikings. He can be a good depth option.
Oh, Elfline?
Elfline, yeah. I don't want him to start, but I think he can be a decent backup. I like him. I think you can bring back Harvey Lange. He's not the greatest player, but he's a hustle player. He can run special teams. I voiced my opinion. I don't think you bring back Jordan Jenkins. Brian Poole you could bring back depending on how much nickel you run, but I would try to put most of my resources in the offensive side.
No, I completely agree. So I was breaking down some of the numbers, assuming that, they do release guys like Van Roten, Alex Lewis, Henry Anderson, Ryan Griffin, that put them right at about like $85 million. And so, you take what you're spending for your draft picks plus whatever you roll into the year, you're probably somewhere around like 65 to 70 million as far as spending money. How much of that are you comfortable putting into the defense, whether it's Maye, a pass rusher or 2, somebody in coverage, like a Richard Sherman type? Like, how much would you put into the defense?
I haven't really thought about how much to put in. I've just thought about the guys that target on defense. You can bring back Maye. You can sign one of those corners from the Niners. You can, Richard Sherman or some of the other guys. Their names I'm blanking with right now, but one of those guys you can sign you could sign a Trey Hendrickson or a Romeo Okwara as your defensive end, and then you could take a guy in like the second round as your other edge rusher. You can kind of have a rotation too with guys like John Franklin Myers and Jabari Zuniga if he's alive.
Definitely a good one. Hey, let me ask you another question, man. So let me ask you a question. So bringing in a guy like Richard Sherman, or maybe a $7-8 million deal, 2 years, you know what I'm saying, maybe $19 million, I don't know, $12 million guaranteed, something like that. Would you think that'd be a good move to bring just because of his knowing the system and his tutelage and just the veteran that he is? Because we have a lot of young cornerbacks.
I'd prefer to bring him in on just a 1-year contract. It's kind of a stopgap. Like, I'd be interested in taking – there's a couple corners I've looked at in the second round, Eric Stokes, Asante Samuel, guys like Junior, a couple guys, second-round caliber corners that, Richard Sherman can kind of help groom them for the year, and then they could take over. And, Bryce Hall could hopefully be a starter as well. And you got guys like, Jackson and some other guys, Austin as backups. So I wouldn't want to sign Richard Sherman to a 2-year contract. If you have to, I guess, but I'd prefer just a 1-year contract. And maybe like what we saw with Fant last year, just like a 2-year contract, but you can get out of it after the first year with pretty much no dead cap penalty.
So so let me ask you a question. So what if we got a guy like Horn and you got Samuel, in the draft, and we still got Bryce Hall? Would you still, because it's kind of like, do you think getting a cornerback before the draft, or would you rather wait till after the draft to really try to bring in a cornerback after that?
Wait, so are you saying you spend the first-round pick on a corner and the second-round pick on a corner, and then you also have Bryce Hall?
No, I'm saying that we got Horn at 23, and so we got Samuel at 66, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Would you be comfortable with that? I mean, something like that. Instead of getting Sherman, would you rather just wait till after the draft to get a cornerback, or would you draft when free agency first starts? Would you rather, because there's 2 ways. Would you go in the first wave or second wave?
I don't know if I want it. Just depending on who's on the board, I don't know if I want to take a corner with my second first-round pick. I'd rather go edge rusher. Just especially in this defense, you need a good, pass rush presence. But, I mean, I don't know if you need to draft, 2 corners in the first 3 rounds. Because I honestly think Hall can play. And if you're bringing in a guy like Richard Sherman, you're guessing he's going to be a starter for 1 year.
No, I understand that. I just think that him being able, I'm kind of comfortable with some of the guys we got now. If we brought somebody in like Sherman and we took somebody like a Samuels in the second or third, I'd be really good with that. But my really second pick, I'm really looking for. I want another guard. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't mind drafting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind taking the guard.
Wyatt Davis or Elijah Bear-Tucker. Yeah.
Oh my, yes, sir. Or even taking a center in the third, man. If one of those centers fall.
Yeah. McGovern over. Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, either one of those, man. Even if we waited to the 4th round or 5th round and took maybe the kid out of Kentucky, something like that. Just if we were going with McGovern and we don't sign anybody free agency, we go with McGovern, somebody that we can let set for a year and learn the system. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely with that because there's a lot of talent and it's a lot of offensive talent. It's a lot of offensive line talent in this draft, but having so many holes is kind of hard to do that.
Yeah, man, I also want to take, like, a developmental right tackle kind of in, like, the 4th or 5th round. He can sit behind Fant for a year because I honestly think Fant's pretty decent. I don't think he's a big issue for the offensive line. I think, he had awful play. A lot of people. Oh, Chumadoga sucks, dude. He's terrible. He's a disaster.
Yeah.
First of all, the dude has his freaking name tattooed on both arms. That's just cringe. But second of all, the dude sucks. He's terrible.
I always thought he had some potential as a pass blocker, like with the quick feet and everything. But yeah, he's been a disaster when he's filled in.
Yeah, he regressed though. You know what I'm saying? That's his first season when you really thought that he was going to be okay. Yeah, he really took a step back, and then he's also always injured as well. So I would definitely like to take a guy in maybe in the 3rd, maybe the 4th. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we need a good backup.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he regressed, just blame Gase, Tyrone.
Disaster too.
You said what?
If he regressed, just blame Gase. It works for Sam.
I mean, the biggest question is, man. So, what do you see at quarterback, man? What would be, and take Deshaun Watson out the scenario. What would be your dream scenario for quarterback? Going into the 21-20 season.
I really like Zach Wilson, man. I think he's got all the talent in the world. I think one of your last callers said it best. It's that you look at traits, and that's the most important thing, in my opinion. He's got all the arm talent, all the mobility in the world. You coach him up, pretty good. You get him. Maybe you need to get like a Tyrod Taylor for him to, we've never talked about this. Would you want to get like a guy to play his first 5 games of the season, have your rookie sit a bit? You can look into that. But Zach Wilson's my guy. I like Fields too, but I think Zach Wilson's got all the talent in the world, and I'm really high on him. I know it's getting kind of annoying that everyone's trying to hype on the train at the same time. Everyone's people are saying he's better than Trevor Lawrence now, which is they're just doing that for clicks. I think people paranoid about the whole 1-year wonder thing. I think that's I don't understand that, because look at Joe Burrow. He was a 1-year wonder, and he looked phenomenal before getting hurt. So, yeah, Zach Wilson's still my guy. Hopefully we get Deshaun, but if we don't, I'd go preference is Deshaun, Wilson, Fields, Sam, or maybe Lance before Sam. Those two are pretty close, and then I don't want any part of Trask or Jones.
Elias, excellent call, man, and thank you for the intro song, too. It's awesome.
Absolutely, man. Glad you guys like it.
Awesome. Have a good night, man.
Yeah, you too.
Have a good night, bro. Thanks, man.
All right, Prime Time. Are you okay, Prime Time? Is this conversation flowing? Is the show flowing okay for you? I want to make sure you're comfortable.
Yeah, I'm good. Why do I sound not good?
No, I'm just making sure everybody's happy. The goal here is to have one big happy family. I know Tyrone thinks we pick on him, so I'll make sure that he feels comfortable, you feel comfortable, everybody's happy here.
I don't pick on Tyrone. I try to push him to greater heights. That's all.
Thank you, Prime Time. I appreciate that, man.
Sometimes you got to push more than others, but I understand what you're saying. So we got the next caller was very controversial. Our show last week was calm as hell. We weren't bothering a soul, not 1 ounce of animosity, and fucking Matt and Philly had to come on and bring all this bullshit on. So Matt, what's up, man?
What's going on? I promise, I'll say this first and foremost, I promise I will not say Sam Darnold. That's the last time.
No, you can. You can. Tyrone started it. You can finish it if you want.
Go ahead, Matt. Matt, go ahead and get that shit out, bro. Don't even worry about it, man. Just go ahead and get over it, bro. Because it's going to go back to him regardless, so it doesn't fucking matter. Just go ahead, bro.
I heard Prime Time mix in how we all know that Sam was better than Mark Sanchez was after his 2 years, and that's enough for me. We're all on the same page there, and that was 2 AFC championships. But I don't want to go there because I just don't want to get stressed out, and I have to remind myself that it's out of my hands. Yes, I prefer one way, but it's completely not up to me. So whatever happens, happens, guys.
So then what up with Marcus Maye?
So here's a funny story about Marcus Maye. I am, around my family and friends, I am a mush. So you ever see the Bronx Tale when they throw JoJo the whale in the bathroom because he's such a mush? I don't want his money touching my money. Every jersey I've gotten is either off the team or gets traded or just regresses crazy. And I got a Marcus Maye jersey. I chose Marcus Maye over Jamal, so I was like, wow, what a decision after I saw Jamal implode. But I got his number 26 jersey. Then Lev comes in, and he changes it 20. So I think I kind of beat the mush a little bit. And he had one of his best years as a pro last year. So I'm pretty happy with Marcus Maye.
So do you franchise him?
I want him back no matter what. Whether it's franchise, extending him. I like Marcus Maye. His big question was durability. He came in, played all 16 games. He was a locker room guy, leader. I really was pleased with when Jamal left, what Marcus Maye came in and did for this locker room. The only thing that he ever spoke up about was when Greg Williams did the all-out blitz, and the next thing you know, Greg was fired. Marcus showed that he was competitive all year. He had one of his best statistical years ever. I really like Marcus Maye, and I really hope he comes back. So, yeah, franchise tag him, pay him, I don't care.
Tyrone, your thoughts?
I totally agree with you. No, I mean I totally agree with you, man. Like, I think he's a valuable asset to what we're trying to do here.
So wait. I think you agree with him? So you'd pay him anything just to keep him? Like, what if he wants $13 million a year? You're paying him that?
I think, well, from the discussions today, man, I think that they're going to franchise him. So I think that franchise is like 10 to 11 million. So I think they can come on a long-term deal. I don't think he really wants to go anywhere, but I definitely think he's a key piece.
Wait. Hold on. Wait, you don't think he wants to go anywhere? He's been on a part of a shitty team for the last 3 years. You don't think he wants to go to a winning franchise and make a shitload of money?
I think that, I think that at the end of the day, man, you can't keep drafting players and not re-sign none of them. So I think that, we have the money, so there's no reason not to pay him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that he wants to turn the ship around. I mean, at the same time, man, this kid has been nothing but a leader. So I think that as long as he gets his money, I think he's going to stay. But the question is, I understand we all want to keep him, but for me, it's at the right price. If he wants some 12, 13, 14 million a year, I'm out. Like there's other guys that are actually better than him available. I don't think he's going to ask. I don't think he's going to demand that. With the salary cap being the way it is this year, and teams being cash strapped the way they are this year, I think he's going to. I think if they franchise him, they're going to give him a decent deal. So he'll get between $10.5 and $11 million a year. You know what I'm saying? I think he's earned that. I think that he's done everything he needs.
He's earned it based on what? One good year?
I mean, not one good year. I mean, two or three solid years. I mean, he's been hurt, yeah, but the last 2 years, man, you know what I'm saying? He's shown that he can stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? He's shown that he could be a leader. He's shown that, you know what I'm saying? He was the best. He's the best defensive player that secondary player that we had last year. You started like three rookies and Pierre Desir. It's not really. You're not really tossing out accolades there. I mean, but that's not on him, man. That's basically, you know what I'm saying. That's the coach.
You're kind of making my point though. You're paying him based on him being on a shitty team, being the best player. So are you going to pay him based on that, or based on what his market value is out there? Do you think teams right now think all across the NFL Marcus Maye is a $12 million a year player?
No, I mean I don't think he's going to get $12 million though, Tyson. I don't think he's going to be that much. I think $10 million will get it done.
Then why are you franchising him at 11?
Because you want to make sure they don't get a chance to walk out that door. I mean, let me ask you a question. I mean, you think that Marcus Maye is more valuable than Jamal was?
He's a good player, but
based on how he handled himself and as a teammate, I mean, we all have bad taste in our mouth from what Jamal did. Coming in saying he's going to be the guy that leads us in, and then taking the first flight to Seattle when he had the chance. Marcus put his head down, and I think it's a testament to how bad the players were around him. For him, as a safety, Pierre Desir couldn't cover anything. Marcus was making the plays. He made a lot of plays this year, Tyson. That's a whole different defense with them. I know we only won 2 games, but I can't imagine. I can't imagine how bad it would have been without him.
You can't compare Maye with the Jamal Adams situation, though, because you ultimately got rid of Jamal Adams because you were able to get 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick back. If you put Marcus Maye on the trade block, which I'm pretty sure they did, I think that was one of the first things Gase did when he got here. What was he commanding as far as, teams, what were they willing to trade for him? Not much.
Why can't I compare, though? Because the value didn't really go down that much. Jamal walked out the door, and the safety position was covered. I didn't really see us lose too much when Jamal left. I know we were on a terrible team.
We didn't lose his pass rush ability and his play behind the line of scrimmage?
You didn't see a noticeable difference in the defense from 2019 to last year? They were trash last year. The year before, they were fighting in every game. They made adjustments at halftime in most games. Granted, again, they were getting blown out of a lot of them, but they were still like top 12, I think.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is Jamal leaving, and Marcus Maye stepped up and filled part of what was missing with Jamal. I won't say he was a blitzer.
He filled the role because he's a starting player. I mean, what do you think he's supposed to do? Not play? I mean, they said you're going to be our starting safety. This is your role. You got to play, and he did it. And he played well. But is he an all-pro player? Is he a Pro Bowl caliber safety? And are you going to pay him like that?
I think you should.
Anybody?
I really do.
What?
I think the safety position is you have to work together with your free safety and your strong safety. Jamal leaves, Marcus stays, and Marcus played great. I think they fed off of each other. Marcus didn't have the great strong safety Jamal was alongside of him, and his production still went up. So I think he played great. I think he's a good locker room guy. And if it means $10 million, I think that's a fair evaluation for what he brought this year.
Tyson?
Well, now you're saying $10 million. I'm talking about 12, 13. You want to make him – the franchise tag is 11. So you're starting there. So you're willing to give him 1 year, $11 million. I mean, I get it. But to say, like, he's like this Pro Bowl caliber safety, I'm not sure he's there yet. I think now you got to see how he fits in this defense, and can he stay like that? And then the other thing is, what other options are out there that could be younger and possibly cheaper?
Educate me. What do we got? Give me some names.
There's guys that are actually just better than him in general. That are actually Pro Bowl safeties and actually made the Pro Bowl.
And they're going to be asking for less money than Marcus?
No, but if you're going to go apples to apples, would you rather have a Pro Bowl safety that's actually made the Pro Bowl, or a guy that you think it played well on a shitty team?
Well, I think if Marcus played on a great team, it might be in the Pro Bowl, and then we get him cheaper.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Prime Time?
Let's see what John can negotiate. Let's see what can happen.
Well, no, I think the bigger question is more, are you comfortable putting that kind of money into your safety position with all the other needs? Like, you look at the front seven right now, you can make a case that they need 4 starters there. You look at your wide receivers, we're talking about at least, one free agent signing, 1 draft pick, a prominent draft pick. You look at the offensive line, the interior's a mess. Like, you got a lot of needs at premium spots. So are you comfortable putting that money into Marcus Maye? I mean, I think he's a very good player. I love what he's done for the Jets. I think he did take on a little bit of that leadership role when Jamal left. I wouldn't be mad if they paid him. I just think that they've got to spend that money elsewhere. And I think in reality, if you let Marcus Maye test the market with a couple other safeties that are better than him, guys like Simmons and Harris, like those guys are going to get paid. I don't know if Marcus Maye is going to command that kind of money. And so once that first wave of free agency is done and teams spend, the money that they do have, with a lot of teams, already over the cap, I think Marcus Maye is going to be able to come back to you for 1 year, $7 to $8 million, and he's going to want to test the market again next year because he's not going to be able to get what he's looking for. I think that's the game that Douglas is going to be willing to play, and I think he has to.
Fair enough. Let Joey D negotiate. I got some faith in him. I just would prefer that we kept Marcus Maye. I thought he played really good this year. But I really do want to pivot to one thing I heard earlier in the show. It was about Devonta Smith being too small to be pressed on the line. The first caller brought it up. And I was in that boat, gentlemen. I looked at this guy and I said, this is, Robbie P. Shooter Anderson here. Defensive back's going to press him. He's not going to go anywhere. He's going to run one route. And then I saw him go out for that coin toss. I think it was, I forget what bowl game was in the beginning for Bama before the national championship. This man's arms stretched to halfway down his shins. He might be able to touch his ankles with his fingertips. This guy's catch radius is off the charts. So I'm sitting here thinking, this guy can catch everything. And then he's been a senior in this locker room with all these great receivers coming in and out of Bama. He goes into the national championship. I think the number one thing on that whiteboard was, let's shut down Devonta Smith, and the guy goes over 200 receiving yards. I think he's a home run. And if we could trade back, because I'm a Sam guy, if we could trade back and maybe scoop him late, that would be.
I'm in that same boat. Oh, yeah, I'll let Tyrone go.
I definitely, we can trade back and get him. Like I said, my whole point is if we're going to keep, whatever direction they decide to go to, we take a quarterback at second, he's probably out of our reach. But if we're able to move back and, grab him out like, 7 or 8, I'm okay with that. Like I said, the kid is talented. I like Chase Moore, but the kid is talented. I just think that he's proven that, he's been very productive in college, He's a Heisman Trophy winner, and this kid is, his route running ability, he was a boy amongst men this year. So, and to be honest with you, we need talent in every position. So we definitely need a number one receiver, or definitely have a guy that can really get the yak after the catch. So, it's not about systems, it's about really the player. And, that's the one thing that we lack on offense.
You draft a quarterback at second. That's the only thing I'm going to say. That what you just said is not going to happen if we draft a quarterback at second. Elite receiver.
I think it's still some good receivers, that could be had in the later first or also second as well. But I'm just saying that, whatever decision that they make, if they move back, then that's fine. But if they feel that Wilson or my man, either one of those are the best prospect to do, then move forward. Either way, that's fine with me. I just want talent on this team. We have so many holes to fill, so if we move back and we have 3 first-round picks, man, this year and next year, I'm not complaining with that. I have no, I have no disagreement with that. But if we take a quarterback with the second pick of the draft, and they feel that this guy can come in, step in and be productive. I mean, we lack talent in every position, and there's a lot of good receivers out there. And it's not too many receivers that were taken in the first round that were really that productive. The guys that are killing the game are second, third, fourth, fifth round picks. So, it's up to your and I'll be honest with you, I'd rather have more picks next year to where, they have a full season back, because it has to be really hard to scout this year because a lot of teams haven't played, 6 games. And, so it's a lot to factor in, man. So
now, let me ask you this last thing, let me just ask you this. Let's just say you do trade back to 7, and that's your approach, to build around Sam or whatever. You trade back to 7, and I don't think this is going to happen, but if Devonta Smith and Sewell are both there, what's more important, getting that potential number 1 wideout or getting another anchor opposite Becton?
I mean, we take Sewell, but that ain't even a question. That's not even a question.
Yeah, you have to go Sewell just because my big take with offensive linemen is if you're getting one in free agency, there's another team on the other end that is letting them go. They think they're replaceable at some point. I really feel like teams will do whatever it takes, even with the salary cap, with all the money, they'll do whatever it takes to bring back an elite lineman. So you look at the Brick and Mangold, those guys are Jets for life. You got your next 10 years of tackles, and that would be exhilarating. I mean, I'm dreaming right now of Panay and Mackay. Oh, is that how you pronounce his name, Panay?
I think so, actually.
Panay and Mackay. Oh, that has a nice ring to it. I don't know.
But don't worry, don't worry, Matt. They're taking the quarterback at 2, so all your dreams are dashed. So don't even worry about it, man. Have a good night.
Tyson, the more I hear Tyrone, talk about the quarterback draft, I think he's more on me and primetime side. Again, lonely over there. Uh-oh.
I'm used to being alone. I'm used to hearing bad takes, so nothing surprises me, man.
Wait, one last take. Curtis Samuel is a steal. That would work really well with Floor. He loved to do the receiver rushing attack with Debo. I like Curtis Samuel as a possible free agent. I'll let you guys go. Thanks for taking my call.
Have a good night, man.
Have a good night.
So we're going to go to Travis in Long Island, who said he's going to squash our Marcus Maye debate. Travis, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How are y'all tonight?
Good, man.
Good, man.
What you got, man?
That's great to hear. Listen, the one thing I want to say about Marcus Maye, I've been listening to the show, and everybody's been saying a lot of different things. The one thing I haven't heard mentioned is, one, the fact that the Jets absolutely need to start showing some loyalty to their freaking players. How many guys are we going to draft and they actually perform and then not get rewarded? How does that make us look to other people that we draft
Douglas
or even
didn't draft them?
Yeah, but Jamal? How many guys are we going to continue to launch? I don't care who drafted him. He's played well enough to justify bringing back. What can he do? He can rush the passer. He can play center fielder as the free safety. He can cover a slot receiver if he absolutely has to. And he's not terrible in the run.
Last year.
Yeah, but that's because of the way he was utilized. Go back and look at the film, and you'll see that he went down to center field every play. They had him going back 20 yards. But that's because the cornerbacks were so bad that they had to have him playing so far back. If he was used more in a way to where he could rush the passer, he'd have more than 2 sacks.
So you'd pay Marcus Maye like a Pro Bowl safety?
I would pay Marcus Maye an acceptable contract to where if he's not interested in returning on that acceptable contract, then you franchise him and say, you know what, as a team we did our best to bring in a guy that we thought is
Well, give me numbers. What's the number?
I would be comfortable giving him a 3-year deal at $10 million a year. Nothing longer than 3, though, because once he gets past 31 years old, the tread starts to come off the tires a little bit.
Tyrone, your thoughts?
No, I'm not mad at all. I mean, like I said, man, I was just kind of reiterating that point myself, man. You have to at some point start keeping talent, start keeping some of the guys that we brought in, that we need, that we brought in, that we drafted. When you start bringing in guys and keep letting them go, when you're not giving these guys work and you're not keeping these guys, it leads. And then everyone acts like our destination is going to be this great place to go to. I think now it's going to be better because we have a better coach. We have a better coach. You know what I'm saying? We have a better team that's going to be here. But, I definitely think that we should keep Maye. I really do. Prime time, what you think, man?
I just don't get the we drafted him approach. I mean, in theory, I would agree with that. But again, it's not Joe Douglas's draft pick. So, I mean, he's going to want to bring in his own guys. He's going to want to pay his own guys. And I just think that there's plenty of other needs elsewhere where I don't think they can afford to sign Maye early on and then risk not being able to get what they need at receiver, O-line, possibly an edge rusher. You look at all the holes that they have on their front seven right now, plus a corner as well. Like, you got a lot of needs. Not to mention you still got to sign a backup quarterback. You might sign a running back, a tight end to compete with Herndon. There's a lot of needs, and I think, if you're going to have a hole, I'm fine with it being at safety.
Let me just say this really quick. Prime, I agree with you. Not to interrupt you. I agree with you that it doesn't make sense to be spending a surplus amount on defense, but that would be the one expenditure on defense I would be comfortable with because, again, he's been a part of the team. He's extremely versatile in terms of what he can do at that position. And, again, it just shows that, I mean, how many guys – you guys have been Jets fans for a long time. How many guys have we brought in and given a second extension to? I don't care who the GM is. How many guys have gotten to that point that were premier talents for the team? It's rare.
How many have been – wait, but the better question is how many have actually been worth it? Maybe Robbie Anderson?
I believe Leonard Williams definitely was worthy of staying on the team.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. Nobody – when the Jets traded him, everybody – wait, when the Jets traded Leonard Williams, they were giving Joe Douglas flowers and bouquets and wanted to buy him dinner every goddamn week.
For 2 third-round picks for a guy that had double-digit sacks this season, a guy who didn't have any help when he
Travis, you're going to tell me – Travis, you're going to tell me you knew Leonard Williams was going to do that when the Jets traded him? You're full of shit, dude, because we all thought he was a bust and never going to reach those goals. Never.
I definitely
Nobody
didn't think that he was
that.
a bust, Tyson. He got pressured. He collapsed the pocket. The one thing he didn't do was finish it, but you could say the same thing about a guy like Jadeveon Clowney. The sacks are in pressure. He's a player that's you want him on your defense. Him and Quinnen would be a monster duo.
You're gonna tell me when Joe Douglas traded Leonard Williams, you were pissed off and said, you know what, the Jets are getting shitty value. Leonard Williams is actually a Pro Bowl player. That's what you were saying then?
I thought for 2 third-round picks with the ability to just be able to review him with the option coming up next year, I didn't necessarily think we need to make that move. I would have kept him. I would have kept him.
No way.
Absolutely.
I mean, no way. I mean, okay, no, maybe that's your take. I don't. We did a show, dude, and almost every fan was just rewarding Joe Douglas. I mean, prime time, am I wrong? Everybody was happy that they got that for him. They thought there was no way they were going to re-sign him.
The biggest thing with Leonard Williams was that we never felt he lived up to the expectations of being the number 6 overall pick.
And not
he
worth
wasn't
that big contract.
The $15, $16 million per year. He wasn't that kind of player, and that was ultimately what he was going to be looking for in an extension either with the Jets or in free agency.
Yeah, but a guy can ask
for
whatever he wants. It's what the team's going to pay. Clowney wanted a multi-year deal at $18, $20 million, and he settled on a 1-year, $12 million deal.
You got to pick up his option.
I don't care what he wants. What's his market? I don't care what he wants.
Man.
What's the market dictate?
It's fun. It's funny to me how Primetime doesn't want to keep Marcus Maye, but he wants to keep Sam Darnold though. That just kills me though. You know what I'm saying?
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
That's apples and oranges. Tyrone, stay to the topic though for a second though. This Leonard Williams thing is fascinating to me because I could not disagree anymore. Like I could not possibly disagree anymore about this. That's craziness.
I mean,
you couldn't find a Jet fan that wasn't happy about the trade.
People are saying that because he played good at the Giants, but he didn't perform for us. Just like if Sam goes somewhere and he performs, you can't be mad he didn't perform for us. But Marcus Maye, you know what I'm saying? Been
but Tyrone, the other thing is this though. But the other thing is this: everybody's worried about you got to retain one of your own. Who exactly on this team are you worried about trying to appease? Becton's here long term. Quinnen Williams is going to be here. Everybody else is so goddamn new. They don't even know what the culture is. They don't even know what's going on at this point. This whole roster is being overhauled. So are you truly making a statement by saying Marcus Maye's coming back when half the guys are going to be gone anyway?
I think
who are
it
you
just
impressing by doing this?
Competency for the team. I mean, for free agency with Saleh coming in, it's a new era. It's not the same Jets. It's not the same Woody. If they see a guy that's contributed to the team, competency
is by signing quality free agents this year and drafting well. That's how you're going to impress people. I don't think a free agent can be like, oh fuck, they franchised Marcus Maye. He's going to stay. I'm going to go play for the Jets. Is Marcus Maye playing here?
No,
I
agree.
Free agents?
You'd have to multi-year him in terms of a deal, but.
But does that impress somebody? So you're telling me if the Jets go out and give Marcus Maye 3 years, $30 million, People are going to be like, holy shit, man, the Jets are for real. They are doing smart shit. I'm going to go play with them because they just signed Marcus Maye long term. That's going to be a selling point?
After you have the Jamal Adams thing happen and he's a Jet for life and he's a first-round pick and you don't re-sign him, it just shows that you're willing to keep your guys. It just shows that guys who play well.
But that was more an indictment of the way Jamal Adams handled himself. Jamal Adams acted like a complete jackass, and that's why he's out of here. And now he's going to pull the same bullshit in Seattle.
I didn't want to keep Jamal. Douglas got a haul, but I'm making the point that regardless, it's still a guy who was on the team that we said we were committed to, that played well enough for us to keep, and that we decided to just launch. Now, granted, 2 first-round picks, that was a great trade. I wouldn't have kept Jamal for anything when you're getting that kind of offer. He's not Troy Polamalu or Ed Reed, but I don't know. Again, it just shows competency. I didn't even want to stay on this Marcus Maye thing long because I actually wanted to jump to Sam Darnold and kind of just get your guys, take on this.
Good.
All right, so I am in the camp with Prime and my boy Tyrone in terms of being Sam. And this is why, Tyson, before you start to spaz out, look at teams that have quality talent that are able to plug in guys to then succeed, showing that a foundation in terms of what you have on the team is sometimes more important than the quarterback piece until you have that guy. If you have that guy, then whatever. In terms of giving us flexibility, keeping Sam gives us the most flexibility. We can trade back the second pick and acquire more assets to build the team up the correct way while also getting the free agents that we need. Going into next year, if we decide that Sam isn't the answer, because I'm not convinced that he is, but again, I'm convinced that he gives us the most flexibility. If we go into next year and he's still not the guy, who's to say that the NFL, there's not another guy like Matt Stafford or another guy that says, you know what, I don't want to play on my team anymore. Trade for me. Sean Watson,
if you trade Sam for 2 draft picks, that gives you more flexibility. That gives you 2 more players you can get.
Sure, but the second-round pick is way more valuable. We'll get first-round picks for the second pick. We can't do that with Sam.
Okay, but if you're looking for flexibility, I just gave you. You're looking for flexibility. I can get my quarterback at 2, and then get 2 picks for Sam, and then I get my quarterback, and I still have plenty of draft picks. I can still build my team, no problem. I feel fine with it.
Yeah, but this is one of those drafts where there's no sure thing on the second quarterback. Usually, when we get to this point, guys, it's Goff and Wentz, or it's Robert the Griffin
Zach
III.
Wilson. Right now, Zach Wilson's number 2, according to many people. That's the hottest. That's the hottest quarterback name right now. It's February 23rd.
When did that start, Tyson? When did that start?
Dude,
a month ago.
Listen,
they weren't saying that during the year.
Dude, when was the rush on Joe Burrow? When did that start? I mean, when did all these guys do it? What happened with Justin Herbert? All these guys, dude. It's the same shit every year. It's February.
No, that's a poor comparison.
I guarantee you this, Travis. I guarantee you by the time this is February, by the time the draft comes and all the pro days are done, all the workouts and all this other shit, there will be legitimate hype around a quarterback who's like he's a must-have guy. I guarantee it. It happens every year, man.
So you're excited about a guy that's had shoulder surgery before he came into the league and that's been playing subpar competition?
You're excited about a guy that's been done basically nothing over 3 years, and you want to say, I'm going to hope and pray, hope it works out? They're both unknowns, dude. You're going with the devil you know. I'm with the devil I don't know. We're both choosing the devil.
No, it's not
That's
even
the way
that.
it is.
What I'm saying is that getting more first-round picks just gives us more flexibility. What do you think we can really get for Sam in a trade right now? You saw what Wentz went for. I just think it makes more sense to get 2 first-round picks moving back with the second pick, keeping Sam, and then if we need to do something next year, we have so many assets that we can do whatever we need to do. Again, that's where the flexibility
what you're saying,
in.
But see, what you're saying is, first of all, you're assuming you can get 2 first-round picks for number 2 pick in the draft. That's a bold assumption. Secondly, you're saying
I think you could do that with Carolina.
all your team flexibility that you're enjoying this year, if it doesn't work out, you're losing next year to trade up and get the quarterback that you can get this year. You're just delaying the inevitable, dude. So all your flexibility that you're proud of now, you're going to lose next year. So that's all you're doing. You're delaying it 1 year.
I just feel next year's class will be better. And I'm comfortable with delaying that. I just think next year's class will be better.
Okay. Well, that's your opinion, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I was hoping that, Tyrone and Prime would kind of chime in, but it kind of turned into a me versus you thing because I know how you feel about Sam. But I just think, again,
listen, I don't hate Sam. Like, I understand. I respect Primetime's points more than he probably realizes. I understand the whole Primetime, his argument, and Sam. If they keep Sam, I have no problem with it. I hope he does great. I'm to the point now where I'm looking to reset and start completely over with the new coach, with the new offense, and just try to build with a rookie quarterback on his contract. To me, it just makes the most sense. Now, obviously, I wish I had Trevor Lawrence to make it all simple, or I'd rather have Deshaun Watson. And I would give more than most people would for Deshaun Watson. Because to me, a quarterback is a thing the Jets have not had in 3 decades. So to me, it's just the way I look at it. Like, and listen, if Sam comes back, hopefully he does great. But if he does come back and doesn't play well, next year the conversation will be like, we got to trade up, we got to do this, we got to do that. Everybody being conservative this year is going to be ultra aggressive next year. I'd rather just do it this year. So I'm taking my chance this year. You want to take it next year if Sam doesn't pan out. That's just the difference.
Hey, listen, Brian.
Go ahead.
I don't want you thinking that I'm in the basket of keeping Sam Darnold. I like the idea of having all those picks. That's what I like because I'm not comfortable with the young quarterbacks coming in. But listen though. I want to say this though. But what Tyson says, man, it really makes a point. If he doesn't pan out, we're going to be in the same position this year. So all those assets that we gained,
with more picks,
we have to give away. You know what I'm saying? So it's a toss up, man. Trust me. And that's the one thing I like, man. It'll be beautiful to get those picks if we knew what Sam was going to be, but not knowing what he's going to be is the problem. And then, like you said, one of those, like Tyson would say as well, one of those young quarterbacks could come in, reset the clock, still have assets, still have picks, get picks for Sam. So, bro. Crazy.
Listen, you guys are putting too much stock into if Sam does well or Sam doesn't do well. I'm taking that completely out of the equation because regardless if he does well or not, we accumulate the assets that we need to do. And if he does well, then our trajectory changes and what we do next year changes with draft and free agency. And if he stinks, then we got a top 10, top 15 pick, and we have more assets because of trading back from number 2, as well as premier talent from free agency and hopefully hitting on the draft to where we're right there. We could be the Colts. I don't care if Sam plays well or not. I appreciate the flexibility that he brings. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you on that. But in the same aspect, bro, you know what I'm saying? You're saying that like we're going to be every asset that we gain extra, we're going to have to give away to move up to go get a quarterback. That just that defeats the purpose. You feel me? Unless you have a better grade on the quarterbacks next year than they do this year. Now, if Joe Douglas says, okay, we'll ride Sam out for this year, and I got a plan for next year, then I understand that as well. If you're seeing the quarterbacks coming out next year are going to be better than what you see right now, I'm not going to understand that. But to take Sam and not hope that he doesn't progress or get better, then it makes no sense to try to move on with him. And I truly understand. I feel the same way you do. The asset that we could gain from this is beautiful, but I don't want to be the coach. Because the coach had to trade for a quarterback that I don't think is that talented. You know what I'm saying? Well, jury's still out. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay,
I don't want to be that. I want to have our own quarterback.
We can be the Bucks. They get Brady. They're one piece away, and now they're a Super Bowl winner. Listen, if Carson Wentz gets on track, that could be the Colts. I'm not a Wentz guy, but if you have a foundation, you're just more attractive to a QB when he wants to get the heck out of town. If we don't have an answer. Either way, I appreciate you guys having me on. I took up a bunch of your time. I'm a huge fan of the show. I just, again, wanted to put some input on what I was thinking when it came to Maye and Sam. But all love to you guys. I appreciate what you do.
Have a good night, man. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, have a good night. But, hey, let me ask you guys a question before we go to this call real quick. So what do you think about the Rams then? The Rams haven't had a first-round pick in 6 drafts. You know what I'm saying? They were in the Super Bowl. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, they're a different organization, dude, because they have the coach in place, they have their program in place, they have a shitload of all-pro players in place. So they're like, you know what? We're gonna instead of taking these lottery tickets and say take a chance on a first-round guy that may not pan out, they're spending money in free agency and doing other ways, dude. They're approaching it differently. That's
didn't they build a little bit of that foundation when they traded what was it, the number 2 pick?
Yep. But I mean, they've been super aggressive with trades and getting in Jalen Ramsey and all this other shit, dude.
No, I just think it's so funny that, you know what I'm saying, we're talking about getting assets or having the right pieces in place. And it's like, you know what I'm saying, as a team, what do? Do we build through the draft? Do we build through free agency? And, you know, and just getting this thing turned around. And I finally feel like we're moving in the right direction. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want my safety saying that he's going to turn his organization around. I want my quarterback to say that shit. So until we get that, man, nothing's going to be complete without that. I don't care what kind of foundation you have, man. A foundation on muddy ground doesn't last. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. I mean, until you get a quarterback in place that can come in here and say and turn this thing around, what do we have? You get all the assets in the world. You can surround the worst quarterback in the world with the best players in the league.
Well, that's what you're going to face right now is going into free agency. And we didn't really talk about this a lot. We covered it a lot last night with Primetime, but it's like we're going into free agency, and you look at a guy like Allen Robinson. Now, I love Allen Robinson. I want him here so bad, and I've watched 3 interviews with him, dude, and based on the things he said, unless the Jets have Deshaun Watson by March 15th, he ain't coming here, man, because he wants to play with a good quarterback, put up big numbers so he can go to the Hall of Fame. That's what he wants. He has lucrative, he wants to put up big-time numbers. He wants to put the stats that he knows he can in the right offense with the right quarterback. So then that's the difference. Like, I think guys like that won't come here right now. But, you know, if you're saying Sam Darnold's our guy going to free agency, okay, is that a selling point to anybody? Is anybody going to buy into that?
Nope.
That's the one problem the Jets are going to face right now going to free agency as they currently stand. It's like, all right, you're going to sell your vision on offense, and now the thing is, the problem the Jets are going to have, it'll be exposed pretty quickly if they call Allen Robinson or they call Samuel whatever else, and they say, listen, we're going to draft a quarterback. Don't worry about it. We're going to draft a quarterback at 2. How long until that story gets out? Right? They got to sell a sales pitch to the receivers to get him here. That story's going to get out to the media pretty quick, don't you think?
Quickly. And that's just, you know, that's just what it does. I mean, like I said, it's going to be so much, like you said earlier, and I truly got to agree with you on this. You know, it's going to be so many flips up and down. Who's the number 2 quarterback in the league? It'll go from Fields. It'll go from Wilson. It'll go from Trey. It'll go from, you know, ain't nobody going to say Matt Jones. But it's just going to be, you know, it's going to switch weekly because there's nothing else to do. They got to have a story. And when free agency is going to tell a lot, man. Free agency is going to tell what really is our plan. If they start going attacking the offense, then maybe, you know what I'm saying, they're looking at, okay, maybe I'll keep Sam. If they're going to build a lineup, I mean, because at the end of the day, I don't care who your quarterback is, without a solid offensive line, you're not going to be successful anyway. So, you know, but free agency, you have so many needs. You know what I'm saying? You got to get bookend the ends. You got to get a cornerback in. You got to decide what you're going to do with Marcus Maye. You got to get receivers in. I mean, it's just. You know, and the most important piece on his team is the quarterback, and we don't have that.
Tyrone, we gotta if anybody follows us on Twitter, which you should if you're not, at Talk Jets Radio, our friend Cassandra was very clever. I guess she had some free time on her hands, man, and she came up with a Sam Darnold excuses bingo board.
Unreal.
Your thoughts,
copying my bingo idea. You know, there was something I wanted to get into on Cassandra, and I didn't want to do it, but I almost feel like I have to now. I got to bring up a tweet. No, hold on. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to go down this route. But if that's what we're playing, okay. So I'm reading the tweet right now. She responded, and this was last night after the show. She responded to our boy Jose, stating, I started crying halfway through. Please never stop roasting my dude, referring to me as her dude. But then she quickly deleted it and reworded it and said, I started crying halfway through. Please never stop with the roast, my dude, referring now to Jose. But what I think happened, it was a Freudian slip. She called me her dude. And then she realized, quickly deleted it, and then reworded her tweet. Again, after calling out Tyrone a week ago and then deleting that tweet.
I didn't even, that was the tweet everybody was talking about. I didn't get to see it. So, but
I mean, this is definitely heating up as, I'm not sure if it's a rivalry, if it's like a brewing romance. I'm not really sure what it is right now. This is it's a very interesting development, Tyrone. I'm not really sure how to handle this one.
I mean, prime time to be prime time, baby. That's the OG, so handle it.
So we're gonna
looking at the bingo board right now. It's actually pretty clever. I'll give her some credit on that.
Dude, this freaking thing's excellent, man. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our good friend John in Lakehurst. What's up, man?
My God, in the building.
What's going on, Tyrone? Tyson, prime time. Prime time. Lay that wood, prime time. Lay that wood.
Yo,
I think she's playing a little hard to get. That's all.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, that's what it seems like. But
it does seem like that though. It does. Oh man, it's like sometimes like what happens, like I have a thought and then I get on the show and I'm like, man, like that whole Leonard Williams thing just threw me for a loop. I'm like, really? Like we were all happy with that Leonard Williams trade. And I think the only reason he put up numbers is because he went to a weaker division. Like look at the competition in that division. I think that's why he put up numbers. But if you look at the difference, Quinnen Williams year 2 compared to Leo year 2, I think we did the right thing. Because what were we going to do? Franchise tag him? What was that? Like $16 million? I don't think there was any way like we were going to keep him, and he wanted like pass rusher money, and he wasn't putting up pass rusher numbers. What do you guys think?
No, I completely agree on that with Leo. I mean,
yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, he was putting up the pressures, but he wasn't actually getting the sacks. And if you were going to pay him as a pass rusher, $15, $16 million, I just didn't think he had done enough at that point to warrant that. And then, everyone was praising Douglas at the time. I mean, it's easy to look back now and say, a guy like that next to Quinnen Williams would be pretty awesome to watch. But everyone at the time, like, we were all praising that. You get a third-round pick back for a guy that you probably weren't going to re-sign. I mean, that was a fair deal at the time, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the move to make. And, I was definitely thinking about it. We should bring in Tyson Hill. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Don't even start that shit.
I saw that, yo. That was funny as hell, bro. I saw when you said that, yo. I mean, but everyone's gonna say that, man, when he goes somewhere else and does better. You know what I'm saying? We should have did. No, Joe D made the right move with that, and everybody was loving that move when he did it. Leonard wasn't producing here, bro. So I agree with you, Douglas, and I definitely agree with that.
Definitely. I think, what's his name? Yesterday, Vinny had a really good point on Marcus Maye, because I was all about bringing him back, but really I think, the position, I don't think we should just franchise tag him for $11 million. I think we should just let him hit the market, kind of like he did with Poole and Jenkins last year. And then we might be able to bring him back for even cheaper than we're even thinking, because we were all over on those contracts last year, what we thought we were going to have to sign Poole and Jenkins on. And then they hit the market, nobody signed them, and then we got them back on the cheap. I don't really think that's setting a bad precedent for the Jets either. I think that's just smart business. You know what I mean? Why should we overpay Marcus Maye just because he was drafted by McCagnon? You know what I mean? And now it's a whole new regime in there. It's like just pay him whatever he wants. I don't think that's a smart move.
Completely agree. And I don't think that's going to be Joe Douglas's approach either. I mean, he showed that last year. I think he's going to have the same approach this year, especially with, the cap going down a little bit and a lot of teams kind of press for cap space. I think it makes all the sense in the world to, kind of call Maye's bluff, unless you can get him for the extension at a price that makes sense, $7-8 million per, something like that. I think they would jump all over that. Otherwise, you let him test the market and then come back to you.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna have to. Go ahead, bro. No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tyron. No, go ahead.
No, I'm going to have to say the same thing. You know what? They kind of, just listening to everybody's takes tonight, you know what I'm saying? Like, let them test the market, see what the market gives. If it's more, let them walk, you know what I'm saying? But if not, bring them back. You know what I'm saying? That's, I think the market's going to set the price anyway. You know what I'm saying? I think the market's going to humble these guys a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I still think Marcus Maye is probably, you know what I'm saying, a really, really good, you know what I'm saying, free safety. So, you know what I'm saying, I think that, you know what I'm saying, it'll be some interest, but I don't think he'll get what he wants. So, you know what I'm saying, I think if the market gives him $8 million or says he's $9 million, that's what Joe D's going
going to stick with. You know what I'm saying? I think they were trying to get a deal done just out of respect for him. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know, if your numbers are too high, you know what I'm saying, it's impossible. You know what I'm saying? So the prime time, what you just said about Allen Robinson, same thing. You know what I'm saying? I think that if you're going to give, you know, he wants to go somewhere to win. I mean, that's what any really good player wants to do at the end of the day. They want to win. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you watch a team like Tampa, you watch a team like San Francisco go from Super Bowl to injuries and back at the bottom of the barrel. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's going to be crazy, man, watching everything just transpire in free agency. And I can't wait, man. I'm just looking forward to it.
Well, yeah, because it's like you don't want to overpay him at all, really, because one, he came into the league a little older. Two, he had injuries. This was really his first year healthy, and yeah, he played well. But if you're going to overpay at the safety position, then why wouldn't you get a better safety? I don't really think there's any way. And if he wanted to just come back here, then he would see what the Jets are doing. It's a new regime. We got cap space. We got draft picks, and just take a contract that would be fair to him and the Jets. Then it wouldn't even come to the franchise thing. But also on the last caller with the Sam thing, I get what he's saying about like creating like the freedom or whatever, or the flexibility and all that. But we have the freedom and flexibility, and we can bring in a quarterback. Like, we have a lot of draft picks. We have a lot of cap space for the next 2 years. You already know what Sam is in the Jet system currently. Not that he can't ever get better, but you kind of know what you're looking at, and it's like that whole. I don't understand that whole. Like, I'm not discrediting Primetime's thing. Like, I give you credit. You're
did you
solid
say that
with
we know what Sam is in the Jet system currently?
No, I'm just saying. Sam showed you what he could do the past 3 years with what we've given him. It hasn't been the worst of the worst, but his performance hasn't also been like look at Joe Burrow last year on the Cincinnati Bengals. I always bring him up because that line's a shitty offensive line. He has some older weapons, but it's not like he just has this all-star team. And the way he throws the ball and what you were seeing visually from him in the pocket and everything, I think is a lot different than what we're seeing from Sam Darnold. Almost like we like even with the Maye thing, Maye played good, right? Just it's apples and oranges, but Maye played well on a bad team. So we're like, okay, franchise tag Maye, but that's a bad business move, just like it is with Sam too. Like, okay, it's not like Sam excelled his own individual as a player on a bad team, where you're like, man, I see a lot of potential with him. It's almost like he just regressed and played on subpar compared and being on a bad team. It's not like he overperformed or like you know.
I hear what you're saying. I still think it just comes down to less about Sam and more about how Douglas evaluates these quarterbacks coming out. Assuming that Watson's off the table, you have to be completely sold on either Fields or Wilson in order to take that quarterback at 2, because again, you're sacrificing either taking a player there that's, you know, an immediate number one wideout, or, you know, your right tackle opposite Becton for the next 10 years. You're sacrificing that, or the possibility of trading back and getting an extra first round pick, trading back twice and getting 2 extra first round picks. So do you trust Fields or Wilson enough to give up, you know, 2 first round picks and a top impact player on your offense? You know, is that a better team to take a chance with Sam Darnold? And at the same time, I get it. You're taking the risk of bringing him back. It doesn't work out. And then next year, you're in the same boat and you're giving up those assets for your quarterback. But I still think there is a slight chance that it could work out. And if it did work out, that's probably your best chance towards building a consistent winner, having all those draft assets. I mean, how would Douglas not be able to build a winner with that?
Well, my argument to that would be it's like you're like trade back or whatever like that, but which we're not going to know how the Jets feel about the prospects till the pro days and all that. But I just don't get that whole just trade back and like it has to like just put this whole team together. You're going to be able to do that anyway. Whether and then it's like why
we have 2, maybe 3 building blocks right now.
But we don't have what he's saying, Prime Time, is we don't have the most important building block. That's the and that's the scary thing about trading back.
You know what I'm saying? Without taking a quarterback.
No, what I'm really saying is like everybody's like trade out of that second pick, right? So the only reason why it's like evaluate these quarterbacks and take a quarter is because we have the second pick. We haven't had that. Even with Darnold, we had to trade up to get that. Like, so if you roll the dice and trade back.
And if Douglas believes in either one of these kids enough where he's willing to make that his guy and go all in, because he's not going to be able to take another quarterback. You know, this is your guy for the next 3 to 4 years. He's not going to be able to take somebody else. So if he trusts in Fields or Wilson enough to say, this is the guy I want to roll with, I'm willing to tie my job to this quarterback, all right, cool. Restart the quarterback clock. You still have plenty of assets, especially after you trade Sam. You get extra picks. You have 2 first-rounders next year. I would totally understand that. But you have to be completely sold on that guy. Otherwise, I don't think it's a terrible idea. Like our last caller was saying, you have so much flexibility. You know, if Sam works out, if he doesn't work out, you have all the draft picks, you still have cap space, you can do whatever you want still.
I got a question, though, before you guys go. Everybody's saying trade back. This number 2 pick is going to be worth 2 first-round picks, all this. What exactly is everybody trading up for?
For quarterback.
Quarterback.
So wait. So there are going to be teams trading 2 first-round picks for all these resources to get to number 2 to get a quarterback, but the Jets don't need a quarterback? Like, if there's teams, that means there's obviously going to be a very good quarterback there.
Didn't you just say like 20 minutes ago that every single year there's quarterbacks that rise up where teams, are willing to trade up, quarterbacks that shoot up the draft boards? Yep. There's always guys that emerge every single year. This isn't rocket science. It happens every year.
The teams trading up are better teams than us. The teams trading up are better teams than us. So if we trade back with those teams, then you're rolling. It's not even rolling the dice on Darnold. You're just keeping Darnold, and you're gaining. Are you really even gaining assets because you're missing out on what?
Are you gaining assets? Of course you're gaining assets. And again, the idea of getting 2 first-round picks is if, let's say you could trade back to 4. The Falcons fall in love with, Wilson, Fields, whoever, right? So they move up, you move back to 4, and then you trade back again with Carolina, somebody like that. In that kind of scenario, you can get 2 first-round picks. Or if you just go from 2 to 7 or 8, maybe a first-rounder and, multiple seconds. Like, you can get a lot for trading back and still get an impact player on offense.
But my point was, everybody's saying, oh, there's no consensus number 2 quarterback, but now there's a team that thinks there is. The Jets are like, no, we don't think so, but this other team is. It's just, I find it fascinating, man.
Well, you could have one team that wants to trade up for Fields, another team that wants to trade up for Wilson, proving that, there's no consensus number 2, that everybody evaluates these guys different. If Douglas isn't sold on one or the other, it would make sense to trade back. If he's sold on one of them, like I said, and he's willing to tie his job to it, fine, take your quarterback. But you got to be damn sure to do that.
At free agency, it's going to probably get leaked out anyway that we're going to be looking for a quarterback. Because like Tyson said earlier,
sure the fuck
you're going to have to let these guys. You're going to have to let these free agents.
Prime time, you have to.
Dude,
what do you tell a receiver?
Here's exactly what you tell a receiver. We have plenty of faith in Sam Darnold. We think in this system he could be a franchise quarterback. We like plenty of the options that are there at pick 2. We're going to weigh our trade offers in the draft and see what makes the most sense for building our team. But either way, you're going to have a talented quarterback.
So then what I hear as a wide receiver is you don't have a definitive answer at quarterback. I'm going to go somewhere where they have an answer at quarterback. Take care. Thank you for calling.
And you don't think the money's going to be a factor at all. You don't think the money's going to be a factor at all.
I thought you were hanging up on me. No, but look.
Yeah, John.
And where he's at in Chicago right now that he's trying to get out of? Do you think they're going to be able to sell him that Sam Darnold's going to stay here and this is what we're putting around him? Does he actually feel like he's upgrading or degrading?
Even Chris Godwin said it today. Chris Godwin's like, I don't need to take more money to go to a worse situation. Chris Godwin said that.
Right.
Yo. Well, and then, you know what I'm saying, why would Allen Robinson want to go somewhere where he just left Mitchell Trubisky? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
dude, why did Robbie Anderson go to the Panthers with Teddy Bridgewater over coming here? Like, did he get more money? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe that there was an offer on the table, and even if there was more money,
that he miscalculated the market. He said it himself.
I don't know, man. Like
he said
I don't know.
In his midseason press conference that he misjudged the market. Those were his words.
Okay. If you take a quarterback at 2, then prime time, and you trade Sam Darnold, are you not gaining access or assets and flexibility? You're still getting like this whole.
No,
how many
you
first-round fucking draft picks do we need? Like, it's so fucking great. We haven't had 2 first-round draft picks in fucking forever, and now we need 4 and 5. Like, we're fucking playing Madden. It's fucking crazy, dude. And if you
look at what Bill Parcells put in place when he had 4 first-round picks, and we don't have a worse situation than that.
No, I'm just saying, dude. You get me so loud.
We have Quinton, we have Becton, maybe Mims, and what else do we have?
You have Herndon that Gase didn't fucking use. We don't know
John,
what he is.
See, John, here's the plan, John. We're going to trade back to 4. Then we're going to trade back to 8. Then we're going to trade back to 17. Then we're going to trade back to 25. And we're going to have 30. We're going to have 20 second-round picks to rebuild our team. That's how we're going to rebuild it.
That's just as bad as fucking Steve's take that we're going to fucking sign everybody in the NFL and have this fucking clause. Like, that's crazy. It doesn't work like that. And if you watch
why is it unrealistic to trade back twice? Why would it be unrealistic to trade back twice?
Fields, pressure game, Clemson, you guys watched it. Did he not show you more in that game than Darnold's shown you in fucking 3 years? You're always talking about flashes. He was consistent.
We're comparing a rookie quarterback to an NFL quarterback in an Adam Gase system with no talent. I mean,
man, I'm just
that's
telling
like
you,
3 bingos right there.
That's facts, though. He's not consistent. He makes bad decisions. He hurt his fucking arm because there was a wide-open receiver that he's staring at, and he couldn't pull the fucking trigger. Like, he's being a little titty baby right now. He needs to fucking get in there with some fire, start slapping some asses, and firing that fucking football. That's what
Name one quarterback put in a worse situation than him. Name one quarterback over the last 20 years, other than maybe Carr with an expansion Texas, one quarterback put in a worse situation over his first 3 years. Name one.
2 bingos. I can't keep track of them all right now.
Hold on, I got to think about that for a second.
The worst head coach possible
right,
in Adam Gase, who we've all compared to Rich Kotite. Shitty offensive line, getting his ass beat. Yes, there are some plays you can point to where he held the ball on too long. That's fair. But still a bottom 5 offensive line and bottom 5
Joe
weapons.
Flacco played better.
And that's another
one
thing.
fucking game Joe Flacco played better, and then he was, 50% completion percentage? Do we not remember the pick 6 from his own end zone?
One game,
Joe Flacco played better. Yeah, and the one game where all 3 healthy receivers happened to be healthy, that one game, right? Okay.
But that's
so why did Taylor Heineke played better than Sam?
Yeah, right. These guys that come in, why does it seem like less fiery? It's like
because maybe
like
coaching makes a difference. Just maybe. I don't know.
No,
how much coaching could they get in 5 days? The guy was signed on Tuesday, played on Sunday, still played better than Sam.
I'm just saying.
How much coaching could they get in 5 days?
Play calling doesn't matter. Okay, that's part of coaching.
Also, now that's another bingo. We've hit like 6 bingos.
You gotta admit some kind of way, Primetime, that he has to be responsible for the bad throws that he made, Primetime.
And I acknowledge that every fucking week. How much more do you want me to fucking acknowledge his bad throws? We say it every fucking week. He's thrown the ball into double coverage. That's fair. He's held the ball too long. That's fair. He's missed some open receivers. That's fair. We acknowledge it every fucking week. And he's also a young quarterback that has not – there is not one example you can give me of a young quarterback in a worse situation over 3 years. There's not one. You can't do it. Look at 20 years. There's nothing. Coaching, weapons, O-line.
You think building around him, he's going to just automatically improve those bad habits?
You got to give an all-star team, man.
But I'm saying, let's say that.
You
sign all these fucking free agents. You give what you guys. No, we're going to give it to you now the way you want it. We're going to serve it up nice because then you sign all these free agents and you get Darnold here. Now you have all them free agents, Allen Robinson, blasting him in the fucking media because they're not getting the football. He's making bad decisions. Then what? Then Joe Douglas is what? Crucified.
So you want to play the you want to play the then what game? Okay, then what? You trade Sam, he goes elsewhere and he prospers. The quarterback you drafted is just average after 2 years. Then what? We can play the doom and gloom that way too. It's the same shit.
Who's your quarterback? Okay, but with your flexibility fucking thing, if Sam comes out and shits the bed, no matter what, you still have to take a quarterback this year because so you're going to just go all next year.
And you're still going to bring that quarterback into a more talented situation.
But that's not the point.
You're not tied. And that's the point, though, about it being about these quarterbacks coming out. If you believe in one of them, fine, take them. I don't care. But you have to be sure. Otherwise, that's your guy for the next 3 to 4 years.
If
Joe
Sam's
Douglas isn't
your
picking
guy,
somebody else. That's your guy.
Do you not think it's fair to him to just give him a fresh start? Like, do you not get excited when you watch Fields and then play?
What is Salah in the floor? That's not a fresh start?
I mean, I agree with you. It's a fresh start. I just think that man, I defended Darnold to everybody. I look like a jackass. It's like he just don't have it. And then it was like Flacco comes in, has a better game, and then it's the same shit from Darnold. The only time he looked good when he was running the ball and making shit happen like that. But he can't do that all the time because then he ends up getting hurt. And then it's just like why is he not audibling out of plays? Why is that not an option?
He's not allowed
Why
to.
is he not throwing? Why is he not? What do you mean he's not allowed to? That's I don't even think that's a possibility. I think that everything just had to be simple. He can't throw the ball to the one side of the field. He throws the ball better to this side of the field. So then these smart defenses like fucking Belichick stack to one side, so he's forced to throw to his bad side that he makes those sloppy throws from. I don't know, man. I like Sam, the person and everything. I think his time being the quarterback for the Jets is done because we need a fresh start. And we don't need 800 draft picks or $500 million fucking dollars to do it. It's not like we're going to go to the playoffs if we keep Sam and trade out of the second pick. I don't see that happening either. It's a fucking process. But let's start the process fresh. This is your quarterback. These are your weapons. They fucked up with Sam, but your boy drafted Sam, not Joe Douglas and not Salah. So whether he has any the bad outweighs the good. I'm not saying there's no good. There's some good. His flashes, yes. But his inconsistencies and all that is what kills it. Like, that's got to kill you when you watch that. I mean, you're in your house watching the game, whatever, or doing the live. That's got to kill you when he makes a bad fucking decision because it was killing me. And I'm ready to just get rid of Sam. You know, not like, give up on him because he's a young kid, but because I just don't – I think his flashes that he showed you his first year, and now he's developed bad habits. It's like damaged goods. It's going to take a lot to turn him around. Look at Trubisky. He looks good sometimes, and then he looks terrible other times. Does that mean he's young? So let's trade for Trubisky.
John, I got a question for you. Please tell me you're going to come to our tailgate party when we go to games. You got to come to our tailgate party, dude.
Oh, fucking A. I'm coming. I want primetime steaks.
John, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
All right. Take care, guys.
Good night, bro.
Have a good day, man. Have a good night.
Tyrone, it was so nice to sit back and just enjoy it. And I was eating some popcorn. I had a sip of my Truly.
Hey, when I say, man, he's one of my favorite callers, bro. He makes my day, bro. I ain't fucking bullshit, bro. He said, bro, just go ahead and give it a stiff one. Yo, that's hilarious, bro.
Unfortunately, we can't get Jake on because we're running out of time. So what we got to do is, Tyrone, what is your parting shots after these 2 hours of complete chaos?
I just want to say, man, everyone continue to be safe, man. Get ready for free agency, man, and that's Jets up, baby. Love you guys. Nothing you can do about it.
Primetime, your thoughts?
Great calls, great guests last night. I enjoyed all the banter, all the debate, even the Sam Darnold hate. So bring it on. I'm ready for it. Excited for the off season. That's it.
His whole demeanor changed, man. Like these last 20 minutes broke primetime. He was calm, cool, and collected. He just went off the rails.
The whole show, baby. Listen,
he sets this shit up at the end of every show. I'm convinced you guys set this shit up.
Yo, primetime was cool the whole show. Tyson just picking on me the whole show. Primetime was just like, all of a sudden, he got to that one point, he just erupted, bro. It was over. He was like, yo, his whole energy changed.
I woke my neighbor.
Dude, I legit was eating popcorn, man. I was just sitting there like, this is fucking awesome, man. I like where it's not me arguing with somebody. This is great. So
Prime
what we
time,
want to do
well
is we want to thank everybody for joining us. We're at Talk Jets Radio, Instagram and Twitter. Let's Talk Jets Radio on YouTube. We're doing a live stream, I don't know, sometime this week. We're live every Monday night at 8 o'clock on YouTube. And that's it. We're going to put back our song again because Elias' song, I keep saying his name wrong. So where the hell is it, though? Right here. Thank you guys for joining us.
Welcome to Let's Talk Jets Radio.
Good night, all. See you guys later.
Right.
Have a good one, bro.